The investigation. It started with whispers in the small town of Oakwood. People whispered about the disappearances, locals vanishing without a trace. I never thought much of it until my childhood friend, Sarah, went missing. The police had no leads, and the town was gripped by fear. We organized search parties, combing through forests and abandoned buildings. Each passing day brought more despair. Sarah's family was shattered, clinging to hope as the weeks dragged on. I couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister lurked beneath the surface. Nightmares plagued my sleep. I saw Sarah, lost in a dark forest, her voice echoing in desperation. Shadows danced at the edge of my dreams, whispering secrets I couldn't decipher. I woke up drenched in sweat, haunted by a sense of foreboding. I delved into Sarah's disappearance, poring over old records and interviewing witnesses. A pattern emerged: each missing person had been in places rumored to be haunted. The whispers grew louder, tales of paranormal sightings and cursed grounds. A local legend spoke of an old mansion on the outskirts of town. It was said to be cursed, a place where shadows roamed freely. I ventured there alone one moonlit night, drawn by a strange compulsion. The mansion loomed like a silent sentinel, its windows dark and forbidding. Inside, the air was thick with dust and decay. I felt eyes watching me from the shadows, unseen and malevolent. Cold drafts whispered through the halls, carrying echoes of past tragedies. I stumbled upon a room with old photographs, faces of those who had vanished over the decades. A presence lingered in the mansion, a restless energy that chilled me to the bone. I heard footsteps echoing down empty corridors, doors creaking open on their own. Objects moved inexplicably as if manipulated by unseen hands. I knew then that the mansion held secrets and dangers. Through research, I uncovered the mansion's dark history. It had once been owned by a reclusive family rumored to dabble in occult rituals. People who crossed their paths vanished without a trace. The whispers I heard in the mansion grew louder, urging me to uncover the truth. Driven by desperation, I sought the help of a local medium, Emma. She had a reputation for communing with spirits and understanding paranormal phenomena. Together, we conducted a séance in the mansion, hoping to communicate with the lost souls trapped within its walls. During the séance, the mansion came alive with spectral activity. Shadows swirled around us, voices whispered ancient chants. Emma's voice trembled as she channeled the spirits, their messages cryptic and chilling. They spoke of a curse that bound them to the mansion, feeding on the living. The spirits warned of a malevolent force, a dark entity that fed on the life force of the living. It sought to expand its influence, drawing unsuspecting souls into its grasp. Sarah's voice echoed among them, a plea for help that pierced my heart. Armed with newfound knowledge, Emma and I confronted the dark entity. We ventured deeper into the mansion, following Sarah's spectral trail. The air grew colder, shadows thickening around us. I felt the entity's presence closing in, a suffocating weight on my chest. In a dimly lit chamber, we faced the entity head-on. Emma called upon ancient protections, symbols glowing faintly in the darkness. I felt a surge of energy, a defiance against the entity's malevolence. It lashed out with fury, shadows twisting and contorting in a desperate bid to reclaim its prey. Emma's strength waned as she fought to contain the entity's onslaught. I knew what had to be done. Drawing upon my resolve, I offered myself as bait, drawing the entity's attention away from Emma. Shadows enveloped me, their icy tendrils probing, searching. In the depths of darkness, I confronted the entity's true form, a mass of writhing shadows, eyes gleaming with hunger. It whispered promises of power and immortality, a seductive lure that threatened to consume me. But I resisted, clinging to memories of Sarah and the lost souls. With a final surge of strength, Emma banished the entity back into the shadows. Light flooded the chamber, dispelling darkness and restoring peace. I collapsed, exhausted but victorious. Sarah's spirit appeared before me, her smile radiant with gratitude and relief. Sarah and I embraced, tears streaming down our cheeks. She recounted her ordeal, trapped in a liminal space between life and death, tormented by the entity's whispers. Together, we vowed to uncover the truth behind the disappearances and bring closure to the town. With Emma's guidance, we cleansed the mansion of lingering spirits and sealed off the dark energies that had plagued it for generations. The town slowly healed, its people finding solace in knowing their loved ones had found peace. Sarah and I became advocates for the missing, sharing our story to raise awareness of paranormal dangers. We founded a support group for families affected by disappearances, offering comfort and guidance in their darkest hours. As the years passed, the memory of our ordeal faded into local legend. Sarah and I remained vigilant, knowing that the shadows could return. But we faced the future with courage, united by our shared journey through darkness and into the light. The search. It started with whispers in the town, rumors of people vanishing without a trace. They would be there one day and gone the next, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a lingering unease. I never thought it would affect me until the day my best friend, Sarah, went missing. The police searched tirelessly, questioning witnesses and combing through CCTV footage. But there were no leads, no clues to Sarah's whereabouts. I joined the search parties, trudging through forests and abandoned buildings, calling out her name into the empty silence. Fear gnawed at my heart as each day passed without news. That night, I had a vivid dream. I was walking through a dense forest, shadows flickering at the corners of my vision. A voice whispered my name, chilling me to the bone. I followed the voice deeper into the woods, where I found Sarah standing at the edge of a clearing. Her eyes were vacant, her expression blank. Before I could reach her, she vanished into thin air. Desperate for answers, I turned to a local paranormal investigator named Dr. Martin. He had a reputation for delving into the unexplained, using both scientific and supernatural methods. Dr. Martin listened intently to my story, his eyes narrowing with concern. He agreed to investigate Sarah's disappearance, sensing something sinister at play. Dr. Martin led me to an old, abandoned house on the outskirts of town. Its windows were shattered, and ivy crawled up its weathered walls. The air inside was thick with dust and decay. Dr. Martin set up his equipment, cameras, EVP recorders, and motion sensors, while I waited nervously in the dimly lit hallway. As night fell, the house seemed to come alive with eerie sounds and shifting shadows. Dr. Martin's equipment picked up faint whispers and cold spots that moved unpredictably. I felt a chill run down my spine as if unseen eyes were watching our every move. Dr. Martin remained focused, his demeanor calm yet wary. Dr. Martin decided to conduct a séance to communicate with any spirits lingering in the house. We gathered in a circle, holding hands as he chanted ancient incantations. The air grew heavy, and the temperature plummeted. I felt a presence in the room, a weight pressing down on my chest. Dr. Martin's voice echoed with urgency as he sought answers. Through the séance, we learned of a dark history surrounding the house, a tragic tale of lost souls seeking vengeance for past wrongs. Sarah's name echoed in whispers, intertwined with the spirits' lamentations. They spoke of a portal between worlds, where the living and the dead converged. I shivered, realizing that Sarah's disappearance was linked to forces beyond our understanding. In the days that followed, shadows seemed to follow me wherever I went. They darted out of sight when I turned to look, leaving me with a sense of unease. Dr. Martin warned me that the spirits were restless, drawn to those who sought answers. I couldn't shake the feeling that they were watching, waiting for their next move. One night, I woke to find myself standing in the middle of the forest, disoriented and trembling. I had no memory of how I got there or why I had left the safety of my home. Panic gripped me as I realized I was not alone. Shadows danced around me, whispering unintelligible words that sent shivers down my spine. I returned home with strange markings on my arms, symbols etched into my skin with a burning sensation. Dr. Martin examined them with a grave expression, recognizing them as sigils of protection and warning. He urged me to be vigilant, as the spirits had marked me as a conduit between their world and ours. More people went missing in the following weeks, friends, neighbors, even strangers. The town was gripped by fear and suspicion, with whispers of a curse spreading like wildfire. Dr. Martin intensified his investigations, delving deeper into the paranormal phenomena that plagued our community. During a ritual to cleanse the haunted house, Dr. Martin uncovered a hidden chamber beneath its floorboards. Inside, he found relics of a ritualistic sacrifice, ancient artifacts stained with blood and symbols of worship to an unknown deity. The discovery sent chills down my spine, realizing the horrors that had occurred within those walls. Driven by desperation, Dr. Martin and I ventured into the heart of the forest where Sarah had vanished. The shadows thickened around us, whispering warnings and taunts. We reached a clearing bathed in moonlight, where a figure stood waiting. It was Sarah, but her eyes were empty, devoid of recognition. Sarah's voice echoed with a haunting plea, a message from beyond the veil of the living. She spoke of being trapped between worlds, a prisoner of malevolent forces that fed on fear and despair. Tears streamed down my face as I realized the extent of her suffering, her spirit tethered to the darkness that had claimed her. With Dr. Martin's guidance, we performed a ritual to free Sarah's spirit from its torment. The forest echoed with ancient chants and the glow of sacred flames. The shadows writhed in protest, but we stood firm, refusing to yield to their malevolence. I felt Sarah's presence grow stronger, her gratitude palpable in the air. As dawn broke, Sarah's spirit ascended into the light, leaving behind a sense of peace and closure. The shadows retreated, their whispers fading into silence. Dr. Martin and I watched in solemn reverence, knowing that we had succeeded in freeing Sarah from the grip of the paranormal forces that had ensnared her. In the aftermath, the town slowly returned to normalcy. The disappearances ceased, and a sense of relief washed over us. Dr. Martin continued his work, helping others plagued by paranormal disturbances. I carried the memories of our ordeal, forever changed by the experience of confronting the unknown. I vowed to honor Sarah's memory, ensuring that her story would never be forgotten. I shared our journey with others, offering hope to those who faced similar trials. Dr. Martin remained a steadfast ally, guiding me through the complexities of the supernatural world. Life moved on, but the echoes of our encounter lingered in my mind. I continued to see shadows in the corner of my eye, reminders of the thin veil between our world and the realm of spirits. Sarah's spirit visited me in dreams, her presence a comfort and a reminder of the bonds that transcend life and death. The shadows. It started with whispers in the small town of Oak Ridge. People whispered about strange occurrences, about how folks were vanishing without a trace. No explanations, no clues, just empty homes and unanswered questions. I never paid much attention until my best friend, Sarah, went missing. The town buzzed with fear and suspicion. Sarah was well liked, with no enemies that we knew of. I joined the search parties, combing through forests and abandoned buildings. But the woods seemed to swallow our shouts, echoing back only silence. The days stretched into weeks, each passing moment filled with dread. Nightmares plagued my sleep. I saw Sarah running through dark corridors, her cries muffled by unseen hands. Shadows whispered secrets I couldn't understand, their voices chilling me to the bone. I woke in a cold sweat, haunted by the feeling that something malevolent lurked just out of sight. As more people vanished, the police struggled to find leads. Rumors of a haunted forest spread like wildfire. Some claimed they had seen strange lights and heard eerie laughter at night. Others spoke of a presence watching from the shadows, its eyes glowing with a hunger that sent shivers down their spines. Desperate for answers, I stumbled upon an old journal in Sarah's room. Its pages were filled with cryptic drawings and rambling entries about dreams and visions. Sarah had become obsessed with the forest, convinced it held the key to the disappearances. I traced her steps, following clues that led deeper into the woods. In the heart of the forest, I felt a presence, a cold, oppressive weight that pressed against my chest. Shadows danced at the edge of my vision, twisting and contorting like living things. I heard Sarah's voice, faint and pleading, calling out from the darkness. Fear gripped me as I realized I was not alone. Driven by desperation, I sought out a local historian rumored to know the forest's secrets. Mrs. Hawthorne lived on the outskirts of town, her home a labyrinth of dusty books and forgotten artifacts. She spoke of ancient rituals and restless spirits, warning me of a darkness that hungered for lost souls. Mrs. Hawthorne's warnings echoed in my mind as I delved deeper into Sarah's journal. She had uncovered a ritual, a gateway to another realm where spirits roamed freely. The forest was a nexus, drawing lost souls like moths to a flame. I shuddered at the thought of what lurked beyond the veil. Armed with newfound knowledge, I returned to the forest at dusk. Moonlight filtered through the trees, casting eerie shadows on the forest floor. I stumbled upon an ancient stone circle, its runes glowing faintly in the darkness. The air grew thick with anticipation as I prepared to perform the ritual. As midnight approached, the forest came alive with whispered chants. Shadows gathered around the stone circle, their forms shifting and merging. I felt a surge of power, raw and primal, coursing through me. The portal shimmered before me, a gateway to a world beyond comprehension. I stepped through the portal, my heart pounding in my chest. The air was thick with an otherworldly chill, a darkness that seeped into my bones. I saw glimpses of lost souls, their faces contorted in agony. They reached out to me, their cries echoing in the void. I wandered through a labyrinth of twisted corridors and shifting walls. Time seemed to warp and bend, the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurring. Shadows whispered secrets as I passed, their voices a cacophony of despair and longing. In the heart of the labyrinth, I encountered the entity, a shadowy figure with eyes that gleamed with ancient knowledge. It spoke to me in a voice that resonated through my very soul, promising power and wisdom beyond imagination. But its words carried a darkness that chilled me to the core. The entity offered me a choice, to join its ranks and wield its power, or to become another lost soul trapped in its realm. I felt its influence creeping into my thoughts, tempting me with visions of grandeur and mastery over life and death. But deep down, I knew the price was too high. With every ounce of willpower, I resisted the entity's seduction. I fled through the labyrinth, shadows clawing at my heels. The portal loomed ahead, its light a beacon of hope in the suffocating darkness. I plunged through, feeling the entity's rage echo behind me. I emerged from the forest, shaken but alive. The portal closed behind me, sealing the entity's realm away once more. The town was quiet as if holding its breath in anticipation. I knew the disappearances would stop, but the scars, both seen and unseen, would remain. Sarah's journal lay open before me, its pages a testament to her courage and determination. She had sought the truth, even at great personal cost. I vowed to honor her memory, to ensure that her sacrifice was not in vain. In the days that followed, the town began to heal. Families mourned their losses but also found solace in closure. The forest remained a place of mystery and caution, its secrets buried deep within its ancient roots. I became a guardian of sorts, warning others of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. I shared Sarah's story, hoping to prevent others from falling victim to the entity's allure. The forest's whispers lingered in the wind, a reminder of the thin veil between our world and the unknown. As I stood on the edge of town, watching the sunset cast long shadows across the landscape, I felt a sense of peace. The darkness had been confronted if not fully vanquished. Sarah's spirit lingered in the air, her laughter echoing through the trees. In that moment, I knew that we had won, but the battle against the unknown would always continue.